What is going on, guys? Crobyrob here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a beginner's guide on how to start calisthenics. Now, what might be included with this beginner's guide? Well, there's a lot of places to start and a lot of things to go over, but today I'm going to be giving you the 4 essential exercises so that you can, as soon as you have this information, begin working out and doing calisthenics anywhere. From your home, the park, the gym, but the gym is not needed at all. You will be able to access this anywhere, anytime, and that's the beauty of calisthenics. So, what are these 4 exercises? Well, today we'll be going over squats, dips, pull-ups, and push-ups. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Corey, I can't do a single pull-up, or I can't do a single push-up, dip, or squat. That is perfectly alright. I'm going to be covering all 4 of these exercises and be giving the different variations so that even if you can't do a full pull-up yet, with these exercises, you will be able to progress and eventually do your first pull-up. Okay guys, so before we dive into this, I'm going to be doing a voice commentary over the exercises and explaining exactly what you should do, how to do them, form, and things like that. Important key reminders. The first thing that you should do before starting any of these exercises is always warm up properly. So the way we warm up properly is by doing some exercises to get the heart rate up. They're basically cardio exercises, and the whole purpose of that is simply to get that heart rate going, get blood flowing into the muscle, so we have a lower risk of injury when we go to do the actual exercises that I'll be covering later. Now, the exercises that I perform in the warm-up that I like to do personally are jumping jacks, butt kicks, high knees, mountain climbers, stuff along these lines. I usually do timed, and what I mean by that is I'll do about 45 seconds. For beginners, I'd recommend anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds on, take 15 seconds off, rest time, and then do 30 to 45 seconds again. Now, when you do this, there is this proper way to do these movements, and it's good to keep in mind form. Always keep that core tight, no matter what movement you're doing, and you'll actually get so much more out of the movements just by doing that. So always squeeze your core. If you can't squeeze your core yet, or you don't have good control over your rectus abdominis, then that would be your first step. Before performing any of these exercises, you need to be able to engage that. Now, after you've warmed up properly, we'll do the first exercise we're going to be covering this beginner's guide is dips. I'll be showing you the basic progressions and moving on to the harder ones, but essentially, when you perform a dip, before you even start, always open up your chest. What I like to do is kind of do a Superman pose, and I put my hands on my chest and then pull out and down to my side, and then I start from there. The bench dips is the easiest progression. So I would recommend starting with these, seeing where you're at, and if these are very easy, meaning you can perform 12 to 15 solid reps, then you can move on to the harder dips of just body weight dips on parallel bars or dip bars. The key things to keep in mind when performing a dip: open up your chest, squeeze your core, and always, always, always keep those elbows tucked in. Don't let your elbows flare out, as this will put a lot of strain, unnecessary strain on your elbows. Could really injure something. Now, from there, it's just lowering down slowly, touching, you don't have to touch the bottom, but going down pretty low and then raising back up. I always do these pretty explosively, so whenever I lower down, I'll lower down nice and slow and then explode back up. That's to build not just strength, but power as well. When doing the harder variations of dips, same concepts apply. Keep that core tight, elbows tucked, and open up that chest before beginning. And then it's the same thing. It's just going down, breaking about 90 degrees on the regular bodyweight dips, and then coming back up. The last dip exercise we'll be going over is the straight bar dips, and these are, I want to say, maybe equal with regular dips. I do like these a lot. I think it hits it from a different angle, and that's why I put them in here. Once again, same concepts apply. Always squeezing the core, always coming down slow and controlled, and then exploding back up as fast as possible, keeping those elbows tucked. Really putting the emphasis in our chest too. But when you perform these, you just get up on a straight bar, you come down, lower the bar until ideally your top abs, but wherever you can on your stomach area, and push back up. The next exercise we're going to be performing is pull-ups. Now we're going to start with the easiest version, which will be jumping pull-ups into a controlled negative. I'll go over a couple hand positions first with you guys. So there is what's called pronated grip and supinated grip. Supinated is a chin up and pronated is a normal pull-up. This is very wide. The next one is shoulder width. That's the chin up or supinated, and then you have close grip on both pronated and supinated, and also chin up wide grip. Going over it with you guys though, I would start with a pronated grip, just shoulder width apart, and you're just going to be jumping up, holding for a split second, and then lowering back down. You really want to make sure you have all your swinging under control. To not swing, you really have to engage your core, and that will help a lot. Also, I don't recommend that you guys cross your legs or tuck your legs or anything like that. Try to keep your legs straight. The other thing that's really important is isometrics. That's where, as you just saw, I jumped up and held at the top. Doing that will also build strength and work the muscle. Now diving straight into the harder version of the regular pull-up. When you do this, once again, to help prevent swaying and swinging, always keep that core tight, engage that core. Start from a dead hang. As you can see there, I just retracted my scapula down and back, and my chest kind of comes up. So I recommend that you guys do that, and before you do any pulling movement. That'll just help engage the lats, which is what we're trying to work when performing the movement. Always make sure you guys perform a full range of motion just by getting that retraction going and then pulling all the way until your chin's above the bar and then lowering back down. And once again, I did that again, that retraction. As you can see, I'm pulling well above my chin and coming all the way back down. Not into a dead hang because I want to keep the lats activated, but into a good position. And yeah, so the next one we'll be going into is push-ups. Okay guys, so the next exercise we're going to be going into is rows. Now, once again, just to reiterate, I know I'm saying it a lot, but it's because it's so important. When doing any pulling movement, always make sure you kind of retract your shoulder blades down and back. Keep that core tight. Same thing applies here. So whenever I get into this row position, you can see I kind of rotate my shoulder blades back, and then I'm not letting them come out of that position during this whole movement. I'm going with a pronated grip, and this position that I'm taking, pay attention to the feet positioning. This is really important. I'm going to be going through these exercises with you guys, and they each have different feet position. This one is with your knees tucked and together, so your feet are planted firmly on the ground together, but everything, my knees are tucked, so they're bent knees. And just pull from here. It's very similar to a pull-up. You know, you're just pulling horizontally instead of vertically. And yeah, the next position we're actually going to be going into is more a straddle leg position. So our legs are going to be fully extended, but they're not going to be together. Our legs are actually going to be split apart. This will make it a little bit more easier, so you guys can progress your way onto this version of this exercise. And once again, just pulling, always try and pull your chest to the bar, and then lower back down slowly, keeping that range of motion nice and tight, not letting yourself fully extend all the way back down to the ground or dead hanging from that position. Always keeping those lats activated. And then the last one is the hardest variation is just with your feet together. Now, another thing that's cool just to note is, eventually you can make these movements harder. One of the biggest misconceptions with calisthenics is that you can't get strong or you can't build muscle, when it's just because people don't understand it. So basically, like this movement, the next progression for me would be one hand and pulling from feet together, that position that I just showed you right there. And that would be the hardest exercise. Next, we're going to be moving on to push-ups. Now, when doing push-ups, it's really important to keep a nice, what I would say is hollow body, which is this position right here. That's a hollow body. Notice how I'm not overarching, but at the same time you're hollowing out your back, and that's why it looks like that. And then once you go into the movement, you're going all the way down to the ground. Touching, as you can see, I'm touching my nose to the ground. My chest, I could not go any lower. All the way down, all the way back up, not losing that tension on the chest. You don't want to take that tension off that chest, so you just come up until your arms are extended and then go back down. That was a regular push-up. Full range of motion might be kind of hard, so what I actually recommend is you guys start with this exercise right here of the knee push-ups. When you do this correctly, notice how everything's parallel still. I'm coming forward, touching still, all the way to the ground, I'm pushing back up. This can be a hard exercise, guys. When you do this full range of motion, and you really, couple tip too for you is squeeze your armpits together. That'll really help put the emphasis on your chest. It's no joke. But once again, parallel body, keeping that core tight, coming all the way down, keeping those elbows tucked in. We don't want to flare out our arms and elbows. It's really important to tuck those elbows in, squeeze your armpits. That'll help visualize that for you guys. This is probably the intermediate exercise of incline push-ups. They can be very easy depending on what incline you have or that you're doing these on. But right here is what I would consider like a decent incline. It's not super low, not super high. Showing you right there how to keep those elbows tucked. And yeah, so I would just, any bench will do, any bar, anything you can find. But just understand the higher the incline, the easier it will be, and the lower the incline, the harder it'll be. But this is probably a little bit easier than the regular push-up, so. Okay, guys, and lastly, we're going to be moving into squats. Squats is the best exercise for your legs. There's so many different variations you can do, but today I'm just going over the basic squat with you guys. Now, some of you guys, depending on your skill level, might have trouble with the squat. Just with mobility, range of motion, everything like that. But right here, once again, keep that core tight. Second part is squeeze those glutes at the top. Trying to put all the emphasis in your quads by pushing through the heels of your feet. I'm coming down, I'm breaking 90 degrees, and then just coming back up and engaged. Feet are shoulder width apart. If you have trouble with balance, go a little bit wider with your feet, a little bit wider than shoulder width. Also, point your toes slightly outward. This will help you with your balance and really maintaining that throughout the movement. The last tip I was going to go over with you guys for this one right here is to picture your chest and butt and body moving as one. One does not move before the other. They move down and back at the same time. Your chest goes down your glutes go down and back, and your chest stays up. You don't want your chest caving in. You don't want to be bending over while doing it. Puff that chest out, and then down and back with that butt. If you fall over, you fall over, guys. I fell over a lot when I was first learning how to do this, so range of motion will help with that, balance will help with that, but you just go down and back. Nice. Try not to let your knees pass your toes. Right here, I'm going into a little bit harder version for you guys. If you have your squats down, if you can do 20, 25 squats, you can do these jumping squats right here. And it's a really great power and explosive movement. And then right here, I show you an even harder version of the one-legged squats, just alternating legs. This is, once again, for those of you who have the Squat Master, these are just a few exercises you can start to work towards or have a goal in mind. And then a couple more here, just showing you, once again, down, but all the way down, come back up. As long as you guys break 90 here, you'll be good. The last squat exercise we're going to be going over is if you guys also have trouble squatting, just freestanding squatting, this is the exercise for you. Find a bench or anything, a chair, anything about past 90 degrees, so a little bit lower than your butt would be. As you can see, I really got to squat down to get here. But boom, squat down, same thing as a normal squat, except I'm just, in case I fall, I have that support back there to just kind of catch and then stand back up. But here, guys, the goal, if you do this, isn't to sit all the way down. The goal is to just touch and go back up. It's actually pretty hard, but it really helps you picture it and have that support, so in the back of your head, you know, I'll be fine, I'm not going to fall down. But this is a great beginner exercise, guys. I recommend learning like this until you have your form mastered and then moving on to the freestanding squat. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. This has been the Beginner's Calisthenics Guide, covering the 4 key calisthenics movements. And as you can see, I did all of these outside at the park, some of them at home. And squats, push-ups, dips, you can all do at home. Pull-ups are a little bit harder, but if you have access to a bar at home, you can do that. The point is here, guys, I'm giving you this free information so that you have no more excuses. You can start today. Start changing your life, your body, and I'm happy to help with that. If you guys have any other details, I'll link my website down below. You can email me with questions. And also just if you guys are interested, I do have a program available. I haven't released it yet, but if you watch this video, you email me about it, we can talk. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you liked the video, and peace out.